Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Sept of the Howling Wind San Diego Werewolf venue. This scene set on Sept, actually. A new young member of the Sept is seeking out their elders, and that's where we will begin, is with Sings in Shadows looking.
Okay, so Shadow has just finished jamming with Lefty, and she has recovered from eating a copious amount of deer, and she goes about an important task, which is finding an and telling them of her past. Um,
Well, if you asked Lefty, Sierra, or the Den Mother, could easily have pointed you to where you could find the Alpha Wisdom of the Earth.
um, so as not to bother my previous companions, I'll just have asked the Den Mother, if that's okay.
Sure. She will have pointed you to where to find her then.
Okay. Shadow will approach when she comes in sight of the Alpha. She will show throat.
She turns and sees this newcomer approaching, showing throat. Her head cocks a little, gives you a slight smile and a nod of acknowledgement.
Alpha, I have come to your sept just recently, and I wish both to introduce myself and to tell you some important information.
I am listening.
My name is Singson Shadow. I am a galliard of the Shadow Lords and a Cleath. I come from Romania, and I left my previous sept on poor terms.
She's just kind of slowly nodding as she listens, taking it in.
I suppose I should start at the beginning.
That is
As most
usually the best place to begin.
That's usually how I tell my stories when I do. Though, admittedly, sometimes it's better to begin in the middle for dramatic sake. But I digress. My first change was a violent one. I killed a man. I hid his body, not knowing about the litany yet at that point. Those of my former sept found me, and for my rite of passage, they had me hide other bodies. Then, and she looks pretty frustrated at this part, they tried to blackmail me. It's been pointed out to me that this might have been a violation of the litany in and of itself, though they may have been bluffing. Said they were going to reveal that I had killed these people, even though I had only killed the one, to the human authorities if I didn't pay them money. And so I left the sept and I burned the van that I owned there to dispose of what evidence I could. And I didn't ask for anyone's permission to do this. I simply left.
She sits down cross-legged by the fire she's stoking. Gestures to another, what's it called? Like a small blanket nearby.
Shadow will follow suit.
For them to do such things would be a violation. Are you certain they were serious when they spoke of this blackmailing?
This black what? Sorry. Blackmailing. Oh, yes. Well, they didn't seem to be joking.
Was it a Ragabash who said these things?
She shakes her head.
A Ragabash I could see saying things to trick you out of money, though they would not break the litany and turn you in. If the bodies
She
were
nods.
discovered, they would send you away. Because we do not do well in American prisons or in any prisons that I have seen around the world.
In Romania, we have prisons too. And they are not good places to be, from what I've heard.
Wild beasts, like the beast in our heart, cannot be caged. To cage it would be to die.
She
And
nods.
she starts patting some of her pouches that she has dangling from her, opens one up. You have a cell phone, yes?
I do.
She pulls out a card. Rights the wrongs is our truth catcher. Rights the rules is our truth catcher, and he can handle whatever is going on. If it was a joke, he will deal with them. If they were serious, we will deal with their sept.
Okay.
And she hands you a card that has writes the rules name and a phone number. He lives here on Sept in a cabin near the kinfolk. Call him before you arrive. Make sure he is there. He has much
Of
going on
course.
with the troubles recently. Symphony says you helped with the attack yesterday.
Hmm. She'll take the card, take out her phone, program the number in, and add the. Is there any information besides the phone number and the name?
Nope.
Okay, then she'll hand the card back.
She'll take it and put it back. It looks like she actually has a few of these cards. It's probably simpler for her to give them out on his behalf since he is a glass walker than to try and make her remember the stupid details of his phone number and such.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable.
Contact him. He will find time for this. If they have
Thank you,
slipped
Anna.
and fallen from Gaia's graces, we will have the backing of the nation.
She just nods. While I'm here, is there anything else you would ask of me?
Atimut. It is little over a week away. Please tell the story of our young one's bravery against the spirals. You would honor them.
That would be my pleasure. That would definitely be my pleasure.
Good. And she pulls a pipe out of one of her sleeves. Some tobacco or some other weedy looking plant she stuffs in the end of it. Pulls up a twig from the fire. Lights the pipe. Takes a puff. Do you have a sensitive? Does your character have a sensitive nose
Uh,
in Hamid? Or does she have experience with narcotics, drugs?
um, she doesn't personally use them, but she knows a fair bit about them, having come up through the underground music scene in Romania and DJing, um, and being backstage at shows. So yeah.
Well, she cradles the pipe in one arm, the part with the plant matter is in her hand, and it's laying lengthwise up her arm as she cradles it. It smells weird. It's not quite like pot, but it definitely has a strange odor to it.
There's definitely a look of curiosity on Shadow's face. Not of desire, but definite curiosity. Like Sierra's curiosity, which is entirely different, like order of magnitude.
She offers the pipe to you.
While she doesn't normally partake in such things, she feels it would be rude to refuse, so she takes the pipe. She says, how do I do this? I've seen it done before, but not super familiar with that.
She gestures down to the little twig that is on fire. It's a much smaller branch than the others. It's easier to control. She says, use that, touch it to the peyote, and breathe deeply as you do.
A slightly worried look crosses her mind or her face, but again, she feels she can't refuse, so she does just that. She doesn't exactly inhale expertly, so she probably coughs a little bit.
Roll me stamina.
Can do.
Since she's never smoked before, we'll make it diff 8. It'd be glorious. You fail.
She fails.
There is some very unpleasant coughing.
Does she throw up?
No, that would have been a botch.
Okay.
Just the very deep, heavy coughing as you feel the smoke in your lungs. Your body doesn't like it, it's not used to it.
After she finishes coughing, she holds up the pipe and makes a face like she's offering it back,
She takes it
questioningly,
back.
though.
She'll take it back, a slight grin on her face.
And she kind of just sits there, a little out of breath. And she says, uh, thank you, Honored Alpha.
You are welcome, young one. I am surprised you took the pipe.
You are the Alpha, and it would have been rude of me to refuse.
Remember, you must always stand with your beliefs. If your beliefs are that you should not smoke, even plants of the earth, then you should not smoke. For to do so violates yourself. And you can always politely refuse. One who forces a friendly gesture on others is no longer friendly.
She frowns, clearly remembering something. That's not entirely how it was taught at home. I thank you for telling me that.
What I ask of
Normal.
you is respect. No can still be respectful.
Normally, I like to keep my head clear. That's partake.
There is nothing wrong with this. I use it to aid in visions. I am trying to see how this trial will end, but it is very clouded.
It's what? I'm sorry.
It is very
Out of character.
clouded.
Oh, hmm. This the trial that has to do with Desiree?
Yes.
That's quite the quandary.
She herself has broken no laws. So all that time with them has left a taint. Our philodoxes, our half moons, work to decide what is best for her, mostly for us. Many would have put her to death as soon as they found out who she was.
There's an expression of deep concentration on Shadow's face. Finally, she says, Alphareia, speak some things in her defense.
You wish to speak in her defense?
I do.
I will listen, for wisdom can come from the younger just as easily as the older. You should tell
Thank you.
Writes the rules, though.
I will do that. But first, I will tell you. She appears to be gathering her words, trying to think of how to put this. Hmm. I'm a better singer than I am a speaker. If it wasn't for her, we might not have succeeded at our task the other day. She provided us with guidance, truthful information in regards to their uh, place. I would call it a sept, but that's not the right word.
They're usually referred to as a hive.
Ah, yes. Um, and we made good use of her information. She told us as much as she could, I think. She seemed to wish us no ill will in this. That's not all, though. When we discussed whether she wanted to leave or not, she seemed to really have wanted to leave that place, as did her mother, who she did tell us that none of the others in the hive, none of the other kinfolk, that is. Now, I don't know if she was telling the truth, but I think she was. Here she looks rather troubled. That's all I have to say in her defense, but it does remind me of something else. May I continue?
She nods.
Okay. I have a question for you. Do you know what we're going to do with the other members of that hive, folk?
From what I was told, Breaks the rules sent in police after you left. They have gathered up most of the kinfolk, putting them in jail. Any that were missed are likely on the run, hiding.
Okay. It's a relief, actually. My first thought was that we would have to return there and do what we had done to the spirals, to them.
Had they attacked you, you would have yesterday. But from the sounds of it, thanks to Desiree, that was not necessary.
They seem much too scared to do that. I I could hear their fear. I could hear them fleeing. Good.
If your very existence hinged on the unbridled, merciless rage of a Garu, would you not fear?
I can relate to that, actually. So yes.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to be brave when you are afraid.
I will admit I was quite afraid yesterday. Fighter that I am Guru, and we all are fighters.
The wolf fights in packs. You had a pack with you. It may not be your pack, but you are wolves. You fought together. That makes you stronger than those who fight alone.
Definitely. Unity is strength, at least in my opinion.
That is why I listen to wisdom from my beta. He is Cog. That is short for Child of Gaia. Writes the
Ah,
rules, keeps referring to him that way. At first, I was upset. Then I learned it is not meant as disrespect, just simplicity. I can appreciate simple.
she grins. Children of Gaia is a bit of a mouthful.
Quite. Is there anything else, young one?
Um, am I going to be okay? I. You did mention something about visions.
You most likely do not have the gift. This just helps you relax to see it, especially when there is much weighing on your mind.
She nods. Thank you again, Honored One. I am grateful for your time and your wisdom. And
You are welcome.
she nods. And also for welcoming me to the sept.
You stood with our warriors, shoulder to shoulder. You overcame fear to come forward to the sept after what sounds like a very troubling time. We need brave young Garu. There is only so much an old woman like me can do.
She grins. Well, I've met other crew, and you seem very wise and possessing great clarity for one who has seen much. My
I
den
had
father. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have meditated deep in the recesses of the earth. There is much you can learn from the heart of Gaia if you know how to listen.
She appears to be pondering something. I don't wish to monopolize your time. That's something I would like to learn to do.
To meditate?
And to listen.
Hmm. You have started well. You listen to one that others would not because of where she was born. That is a good start.
I just try to follow the litany. It says that we're supposed to respect those who are lower than us in station.
She nods.
And even if they've had, I don't know, a troubled upbringing, well, that just gives them a perspective that the rest of us might not have. And as we experienced, we can't afford to ignore such information out of pride or whatever else reason. At least I don't think so. I don't know. My sept gave me a lot to think about. The way that they had little respect for those who were lower than them, such as myself, taught me that we must be careful about who we disrespect, because we might lose them and we might lose their aid.
She nods.
To brag, but I'm of some use, and continuing to be at my former sept is a loss for them, or not they see it that way.
And we will reap the benefits of that loss.
She just grins. I hope so.
She looks up at the sky. The cubs should be eating dinner now if you have not eaten. I am sure
Oh,
Dazzles will let you join her.
she pats her stomach. Uh, Sierra, Lefty, and I actually hunted a few deer and ate them. Still quite full, but thank you.
Good. I am here if you have anything else you need of me. I am certain that Right the Rules will be happy to speak with you about all of these things. I will let him know to expect you.
Thank you. Should I return to you if I want to learn to meditate, or should I go to the Den Mother?
We can both teach. We just teach in different ways.
That's fair. She appears to be considering. I don't know if I want to monopolize your time. You must be quite busy.
Not always. As the
Well,
moot approaches, I will be busier, but I will always make time for those who want to learn. If I am not willing to teach, then I should not expect others to teach.
that's true. And in teaching, there is a great deal to be learned.
You have learned much already, then. Good.
She grins. I will return to you as soon as I can. You spoke of being busy, and I don't know if I will use, but if you're to teach me, maybe I can be of aid in the things you'll be busy with. It might not be my business, and it might be above my station, but if there is anything I can do, I would be glad to.
I will keep that in mind.
Thank you yet again.
She nods, takes a puff on her pipe. Is there anything else then?
One last request. I have many, I know. But I have a great deal of interest in languages, and I was wondering if one so experienced as yourself might know, besides just English or Spanish for that matter. I know that as it is.
I know several of the native tongues of my people.
She appears to consider again. Seems like potentially sacred knowledge.
Some consider it
But
so.
if you would be willing to teach me them, appreciative.
I will consider this act.
Thank you. Probably rest.
Very well then.
I hope you have a good night and that your visions are fruitful.
As do I. Good evening, Cub.
Good evening. Am I to take it that I'm dismissed?
She nods.
Thank you. She gets up and slowly wanders off.
And if there's nothing else,
Uh, I'm guessing you don't also run Writes the Rules?
nope, I do not. That
Okay.
is the other
Okay.
SD.
Okay. Then I will wait until Nancy is available another day and have that meeting. And just going to crash out.
Then we will end this scene, and thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching.